And now we would like to welcome Gina Pearson.
Good morning. So I want you to know I know who you are. You're the rebellious ones who's saying, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to let my light shine. I'm going to church this morning. You're not canceling my assignment in life. Yes, yes. So thank you for being who you are. In spite of what's going on around us, we're not moved by that, right? We're standing in the truth of who we are. We're owning our sacred significance as we journey this path to a higher dimensions. So I want to talk with you briefly today about what does that path look like, since all of life has unfolded perfectly for us being who we are, right where we are, the way we are today. Would you agree?
Yes.
There's no power outside of you to calm the storm. The power is within you. Yes? So I just want to talk with you briefly about what does that look like, since we all agreed to come here. You know, we've got to learn to redefine how life is unfolding. The old paradigm is not working anymore. You know, those beliefs that, a woman's place is in the home, be seen and not heard. It's not the hour for those kinds of conversations. They don't have any meaning anymore. I know I'm talking to somebody because there's an urgency in here, for you to check back into life. I don't care what the calendar says, the agelessness of the spirit that you are, it's what's in activation now, because you are the light of the world. And does this world not need light right now? It's not the time to hide under a bushel. It's your time right now. All the beauty, all the intelligence, all the power is within you. And what's happening is you're being called. The Spirit is calling you forth to what? Yet a higher dimension of expression. So we must redefine what the possibility that my life is. We have to recalibrate and begin to align with the truth of who we are, because this body isn't, right? It's just the vehicle for the expression of the gift of God that I am, the power of spirit that's unfolding through me. And then we need to rejuvenate. How do we bring ourselves to experience life at our fullest capacity? How do we do that? How do you add value and increase the value of your existence? Especially since out there they're telling us there's a time limit. We know that already, right? But in this moment, what is the power that you are? We come here to expand, to stretch, and to grow, not to sit in a comfort zone. It's easy to do that. I remember wondering, why all the valleys, why all the ups and downs? I wanted to live my life, do the right thing, and be just on this path. It's not going to happen. I remember flying once, and I heard the Spirit say, it's in the valley that the character is built, and it's displayed on the mountaintop. So there's an ebb and flow to life. It's just not going to be like this. I don't care how you hold the space. So I want to encourage you today to check back into life and to begin to ask yourself, in redefining what's unfolding around us, how life has been, who you are today, what is the possibility of my life? What is that? Most of our identity is determined by what our parents thought, and we also had plans. How many of your plans has worked out the way you intended them to? About your life as a child, who you thought you were going to be when you grew up? How many of you has worked it out so perfectly? A few of you. Maybe I can have a counseling session with you after service, because, I have what society thinks I should do and what others think I should be. But in spite of my plans, many are the plans of a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that ultimately prevails. So I'm trying to get on that program. I'm trying to be in the flow with the will of God for my life. And that means I come to the table naked, because I don't know. I've been in the world a few years. I know I look 22, I'm not. So I've been here to understand that there's a divine plan in action. I was born 4 pounds, 2 ounces, slightly premature. And I'm the 6th of 9 children, so when I came home, I had to stay in the hospital a few weeks, a few days. I don't really know how long I was there after I was born, but when I came home and started going through life, I'm shuffling through all these I'm 6 now, so there's so much going on around me. So as a child, I began to wonder, wow, I'm just another mouth to feed around here. How are they going to keep me around? So I made a decision, now get this, as a child, that I was going to be useful. So I was going to begin to help my mother. I found a place how to help. I remember her encouraging me and bragging on me. We, back then, hung clothes on the clothesline. We had 6 clotheslines outside of our home. And so I began to help and help. Inside of self-preservation and survival, I wanted to be here. So I learned at a young age how to people please. Now I know none of y'all know what I'm talking about, but just stay with me. Such that at a young age, my brothers coined the term for me, Cinderella. I was going to be helpful. I remember in high school, my senior year, I got to go to the prom. Cinderella got to go. But we grow out of those terms of endearment, don't we? We do. So what's holding on to you? What are the beliefs that has defined you in your life that maybe for now is limiting you? It's no longer valid. A lot of times we hold on to relationships where there's no more growing to do. There's no more contribution you can make there. And we've got to know when it's time to let go. We're all trying to figure this thing out. We're all trying to make sense about life. What I can tell you is this. You came with a divine code. You came with a sacred assignment. And nobody can fill it for you. Nobody. It's just the beginning of life, right where you are. It's no accident we're having this conversation today. Trust me. Everything is vibrating. Everything has a frequency. Your life is drawn, just like a plant is drawn to the sun. Your life is drawn to the people, to the conversations that edify you. Just notice how things are dropping off, falling off, relationships. They just stop calling. You don't know why. It's perfect. Because you are realigning your life. You're becoming synchronized with the higher vibration because your spirit is desiring to be more expressive. Your spirit is moving back to that center, that God consciousness. So the path you've been on has been perfect. Perfect. It's your job to understand it. Jesus said when he began preaching, Mark, it's one of the first accounts that Mark says, when he went back to Nazareth, the kingdom of God is at hand. It's the first thing he said. What does that mean? That kingdom that within you is desiring to emerge. That's why nothing's fitting anymore. That's why the diet you've been on is changing. Your body has become susceptible to some of it. It's time to shift gears. It's time to come into a higher vibration. There's a synchronicity that's trying to happen with your life, and you want to go in this direction when the Spirit is pulling you here. So trusting the process, going with the flow, trusting that inner voice, taking on and strengthening that intuition. Trust it. Nobody else has more of God than you. We all have the same dip, assignment, drop, whatever dispensation you got it. And it's your job to somehow tap into it, to let it flow in your unique way, whatever that looks like. Imagine it's valuable, and no one else can bring that contribution for you. So it's time to begin to look and recognize, what is the gift that my life is? Everything is unfolding perfectly, and you've got to begin to trust that life is on your side. So those conversations, those debilitating conversations, nobody ever knows what you're thinking. But we can look at your life and see that maybe, some of the vibrations could increase. I've had some challenges in my health that, I'm a marathon runner. I'm healthy. What's up? I've been wanting to play quiet and stay in my place and do all these things society has said and it's not working for me anymore. And my body is screaming to come out and play. And I've decided to let it. I don't know how it's done. I don't know the path to take, but I understand that I am on a path to a higher dimension. Yes? I moved here. When I moved here 27 years ago, I was going to a church called Higher Dimension. I no longer go to that church. That church isn't even there anymore, but guess what? I remain on the path to a higher dimension. Even then, my soul was climbing to a higher dimension. So many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevail. You've got to know there's a bigger conversation being had than the one you're having. And it's in the divine throne room of God. And your spirit is evolving to get there so we can hear and feel that vibration. So, John mentioned it, how important it is to be in meditation and silence so you can feel that vibration, so that you can begin to wake up, move that body, move those cells, and move that heart to trusting and loving. So yeah, we all get hurt on the path. We've been kicked and bruised. Well, everybody's trying to get through. Sure, you got kicked. Maybe not intentionally. But you cannot sit there and become a victim to the past unfoldings in your life. Because that is where we have imprisoned ourselves and we have stayed stuck. And the stagnant energy is causing some issues. So get that body moving. Yes, yes. Moving and trust that process. It's time to display a new level of courage and to begin to tap the spark of the divine. That's where the life is. Life is just beginning. It's time to press through, just like you decided to come here. You're not moved by fear. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love and power and a what? Sound mind. And so as you begin to meditate, even a little bit more than you already are, you'll begin to in tune with the intentionality to fulfill the sacred significance of your life. You've never been punished. Everything is perfect. You know, as kids we think, why is this happening to me? Even as adults we think that way. But we are evolving spiritually to know that God's purpose prevails. It is what's unfolding in me. And remember, there's a divine plan bigger than your plan that is unfolding simultaneously. And we must make sure that we are grounded to know that at all times. Our lives are busy, busy, busy at times, so we get away from that, but returning to center. Returning to center is what's going to get us through this season and the seasons to come. Yes? Because we've created it all. Somehow, you designed the drama of your life. You've called forth everybody that's played in that scene, in that scenario, for your greatest level of growth. You've picked those that you want to learn the lessons, how to be, how not to be, what to do, what not to do. Just begin to look at your life. Change the perspective that you've been looking at. You've been in charge of it all. And on your spiritual path, that's one of the main things that gives you a leg and a grounding, to recognize I am responsible for the unfolding of my life. I've created it all, even the present situation. Choose it, accept it, like you've created it, like you've chosen it, like you've designed it. Otherwise, you'll be resisting it, and everything is an issue, and all the energy that you're using to resist it is the energy that you need to keep your immune system strong to move through it. Yes? Are you getting me? Are you hearing what I'm saying? So we're defining how the unfolding of our life. And then we want to recalibrate. Get in line with the vibration and the synchronicity of what's happening. Things aren't working for you anymore. Cut it off. Thank it. Thank the people for the divine spark that's within them. The greatest level of learning has manifested. God bless you on your way. Recalibrate. What are you waiting for? You've already got permission. The most important thing now to do is fulfill your sacred significance. You're on that path to a higher dimension. You're coming back into alignment with your God consciousness. From childhood to now, we've been just trying to figure it out. What's the meaning of life? We're all trying to figure that out. Is life challenging? Yes, but you came here to expand, to stretch, and grow. You're governed by divine power to do just that. So, the path is calling us to align with the energetic vibration that we are. Letting go of attachments, letting go of belief systems, resetting, realigning, letting go of the illusions. They've governed all of us because we're all just doing the best we know how to do. But as we can activate and recalibrate that understanding of our divine nature, I mean, you've heard the term, we're spiritual beings having an earthly encounter because this sack of blood and flesh is not who we are. So going to the higher dimension, going to the deeper dimension is the call of spirit in this season. Yes? And so we're saying yes to be illumined at a higher level of understanding. Letting divine love, no matter what happens, rule the situation, the circumstances. Giving the benefit of the doubt. Forgiving what has transpired. Everybody's doing the same thing. We're just trying to figure it out. But as we can expand and get in touch with the depth of who we are, we have more energy to be compassionate, to show love, to give the benefit of the doubt, to speak a word of life, to smile in spite of, to let our light so shine. That's what time it is. The season of starting over. Springtime is upon us. It's time to spring into bloom, no matter what. Forgive yourselves. You did the best that you knew to do. Reset things. We've all gotten locked out of our computers and we've had to reset, realign. I don't know what the challenges you're dealing with, but we all have them. I've never done drugs, but I've thought about it at times. No, really, I'll tell you a quick story. When we lived in Chicago, it's very expensive to live in Chicago. We were doing great in Chicago. And how many of you, we can all use a little bit more money. So I was working at Landmark, and we lived downtown, so I could walk to work. And so there I was, minding my business. It was snowing, and I looked down. The snow had melted a little bit in the parking lot, and there was a bag of cocaine. And I'm thinking, is this what I think it is? And immediately I'm thinking, how much money is this? And I picked it up. My heart starts pounding. I walk to my office. I'm thinking, what did I just do? I call my son. I'm thinking, Julian, I think I have a bag of cocaine here. How much money do you think it's worth? He's like, Mom, what? My son was a teenager in Chicago at the time. I'm not saying he did drugs, but he knew more about it than I did. He said, what did you do? I said, I have this bag right here of cocaine. I don't know. It was in the parking lot and I picked it up. I'm just wondering how much money you think we can get for it. He goes, Mom, it probably was a drop-off point. And so there I am. I got in just in time for the staff meeting, so I had to put it beside in my purse. And I go into the staff meeting thinking, oh my God, are they looking for me? This building is going to be blown up. I didn't know the world of drugs, right? I calm myself. I have the staff meeting. I leave. I come back out. Oh my God, that bag is still here. Are they monitoring the building? My day, I was working on accountability, promises I had to produce. I had to put that aside. 5 o'clock. Time to go home. It's still here. What I'm going to do with it? So I had enrolled this drug lord into doing the transformational work, the Landmark Forum. So I called him, Jesse, it's Gina. I picked up a bag of cocaine coming in. Do you think we can sell it? What do you think? Miss Gina, I don't sell drugs. But look at me. Look at the mindset I was in. Give me the money. He's like, but Miss Gina, I can do away with it for you. I can take care of it. I'm thinking, oh no, I got to get out of here. My son was like, he called me, Mom, put it back where you got it from. And so it was time to leave to go home, and I did. I went right back out to the parking lot. I tried to walk past the area where I saw it and drop it right where it was, and I began to breathe again. So it's time for you to begin to breathe again. Let go of what's not serving you. Let go of the thoughts and the beliefs. Begin to rejuvenate yourself. The power to bring balance to what's happening out there is within you. How do you begin to take on using this human nature to your fullest capacity? divine love is certainly a path to take. Letting go, forgiving, releasing. There's an invitation right now being extended for the highest revelation of who you are in the world. And I just want to encourage you. Where you've been is great. What you've accomplished is great. You know, being head of the flower committee at the entrance of your neighborhood, it's fine. Volunteer for the Red Cross, I've done it, it's fine. But there's a greater conversation to be had. And how do you bring the highest level of the greatest version of who you are into the world? That's the challenge that's on the table. I love you. Thank you for being here. Own your sacred significance and stay the journey on the path to a higher dimension. Bless you.